Welcome to the Ellis podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast. You are getting a special treatment, 2 podcasts in one day. I just covered the baseball power rankings earlier today, and now you're getting the second podcast, which is a preview of AEW Double or Nothing. I'm also going to bring you some other wrestling news and notes, including happenings from last night at Saturday night's main event. Before I do that, just a reminder, if you enjoy what you're listening to, please subscribe to the podcast, whether that's on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or all of them. Go ahead and just click subscribe to all of them. I would really appreciate that. The more subscribers I get, the better I can give you the material you want to hear. So appreciate all the support. I really do. It's been great. And thank you very much for that support. Number 2, if you could follow me on social media, that's on X, Instagram, TikTok. It's at TellisEllisHQ. X is where I primarily post, but planning to do more of the social media in the future. So please subscribe. That would be great. Or follow me, I should say, on those social media channels. And if you have any questions or comments or just want to share information or be on the show or ask questions, send me an email, jamie@tellisellis.com. Now let's get into pro wrestling. Look back, look ahead, and excitement for tonight's AEW Double or Nothing. Let me start with last night's Saturday night's main event. It came to you from Allen County War Memorial Coliseum in Fort Wayne, Indiana, just two hours up the road from me. I should have probably gone. It was good attendance, about 10,000 in the crowd, and it sounded like 20,000. They were really into the matches, and did a really good job. They were fired up. The first match was Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Rhea Ripley against Jade Cargill, B-Fab, and Michin. I actually thought this was one of the best matches of the card. Like I said, the crowd was loud and fired up. Michin took some really big hits, including a top rope drop kick to the chin from Rhea Ripley. I'll tell you, both her and B-Fab did really well. It was their probably biggest event in a long time, probably since they've been in WWE, and I thought they did a nice job. Michin would hit a Styles Clash later. Rhea broke the pinfall out of that Styles Clash. Rhea hit a Riptide, and Michin broke out of that. Jade hit a Jaded for the finish. Charlotte, Alexa, and Rhea finally got on the same page, and they were kind of celebrating each other. When kind of all hell broke loose, Jade ended up hitting the Jaded for the finish and got the 1-2-3 count on Rhea. So that sets up Clash in Italy for next week, when Rhea will defend her title against Jade Cargill. After the match, they all got beat up, Charlotte, Alexa, Rhea, and again, that sets up kind of well for the future. It sounds like they're all on the same page, but now Rhea's going to go off and have her match against Jade Cargill next week. The second match was probably the worst of the whole night, and that was Becky Lynch against Sol Ruca. I was really looking forward to this one. Some of the actual moves were botched. Sol Ruca has not hit stride yet. I don't know if she's nervous or what. She missed couple of moves, even the one where Becky ended up pulling the referee in front of her as Sol was going to hit her one of her moves. It felt out of place and out of character and just didn't hit right. Maybe the referee was out of place. Maybe it wasn't Sol's fault, but at the end of the day, Becky pulls the referee in front of her to take the Sol Snatcher, and the ref calls disqualification on Becky for that. Becky ends up beating up Sol Ruca afterwards. It was announced after the match that the two will fight for Becky's Intercontinental Championship next week at Clash in Italy. Penta versus Ethan Page was a really good match. This was another one that had a lot of crowd reaction to it. Penta is very well over with the crowd. He kicked out of the confidence breaker. The Penta driver, he went for a Penta driver, missed it. Page hit an avalanche slam from the second rope, and Penta kicked out of that. Page kind of lost his cool, removed a couple of the turnbuckles, but got thrown into one himself, which allowed Penta to hit his finish, Mexican Destroyer, for the victory. So Penta beats Ethan Page. Ethan Page looked really good in this match, though. Again, I've heard the WWE really likes Ethan Page. I'm sure he's going to get pushed more, and he'll get another chance for that Intercontinental Championship. We had Brie Bella and Paige versus the Irresistible Forces, Lash Legend and Nia Jax. This was for Brie and Paige's WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Kind of a disappointing match again. Paige ended up pinning Nia Jax when Brie Bella provided leverage for the pinfall. It was a successful defense. I just don't know how over Brie and Paige truly are, but they ended up winning the match and retained their title. And then the main event was really good. It was the Vision, Austin Theory and Logan Paul against the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. The crowd was yelling "Fire Logan" chants throughout the entire match. Things didn't go really well for Heyman, Paul Heyman and his crew early on. He tried to pull them to the back and said, "We're done. We're just going to get out of this thing." The Vision were attacked then by Dawkins and Montez Ford, brought back into the ring. The Profits hit their finisher, but Logan broke the count. And there was another spot where I think it was I think the Street Profits hit their finisher again and looked like they were going to win the championship. And quickly Heyman put Austin Theory's leg on the rope. Referee sees it and stops the count. Montez Ford went after Paul Heyman. At that time, Logan, I don't know if it went into his trunks or where he got him. He got the brass knuckles and hits Ford with the brass knuckles. Theory ends up pinning Montez Ford. Afterwards, Braun Breaker speared both the Street Profits after the match. And, I don't know where this one's going to go, if there's going to be another match here or not, but it was interesting. Logan Paul does get a ton of heat when he's out there. I thought this could be a match where Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins actually break up because, Seth Rollins has been getting involved in these matches. I don't think Montez Ford likes that very much, but Angelo Dawkins has kind of befriended him a little bit. So, but none of that happened. No Seth Rollins, nothing like that. This was the Street Profits' first title shot in 7 months, and they did not get the victory. Instead, it stays on the Vision. All right, just some random news and notes. Again, Clash in Italy is next week. A lot of really big matches. Actually, that's shaping up to be a really good card. I'll talk about that in just a little bit. But just covering some other news and notes. WWE has expanded their live events calendar. WWE has scheduled additional house shows for this summer, European tour, in addition, around SummerSlam. It's kind of partially reversing what they did in 2024, which was they pulled back on some of these live events. On Something to Wrestle, JBL argued the shows are essential for talent development. How else are you going to learn how to work, says JBL. He revealed that WWE executive producer Bruce Pritchard told him the company can generate over $1 million in revenue from a single tier 2 market house show. So both rationales, both developmental and financial, point towards a slow return to a fuller live events calendar for the WWE. Kind of makes sense. They have a lot of younger talent out there, and they need to showcase that young talent in order to get them over. Let's see. Rey Mysterio was named the AAA general manager. So Dorian Roldan and Marcela Pena announced Rey Mysterio as the new AAA general manager on Saturday's AAA on Fox event. Mysterio, the AAA and WWE Hall of Famer, who's been working AAA commentary, told the crowd he plans to take AAA to a new level. What's worth noting is Dorian Roldan was visibly upset in the background shot during the announcement, a clue about internal dynamics worth tracking and worth staying on top of. AAA's relationship with WWE since the acquisition continues to evolve in ways that aren't really fully public yet, but clearly some crossover here with Rey Mysterio. It's been officially announced that Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar 2 has been added to Clash in Italy. WWE confirmed the match for next Sunday's PLE in Turin. The current Clash in Italy card now includes Cody Rhodes versus Gunther for the WWE Championship, Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu for the World Heavyweight Championship, and that is a tribal combat match. We just mentioned Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar 2, and then Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So really strong card. Clash in Italy, I believe it begins 2 p.m. Eastern next Sunday. I'm going to talk about Double or Nothing in a second. Let's see. Before I do, I want to talk about the NWA. So the NWA's Crockett Cup came to a conclusion yesterday, and Titans of Calamity, Ren, Ayabe, and Talos won the Crockett Cup for 2026 by a double choke slam over the Country Gentlemen. It's interesting, Ren, Ayabe, and Talos came in as the number 16 seed in the tournament. It was the 40th edition of the Crockett Cup. David Crockett and Billy Corgan watched from ringside. It was a pretty cool episode of NWA Power yesterday. And again, Titans of Calamity, your 2026 NWA Crockett Cup champions. Luchasaurus was in the news. He tore both shoulders during a December Battle Royal in Manchester and attributes the injury to a Knicks victory celebration that kept him drinking and awake on the plane. His first surgery in February was successful, and then a second on an accelerated 3-month timeline happened just recently. So hopefully Luchasaurus is on the mend and we'll see him back soon. Ludwig Kaiser, performing as El Grande Americano in Mexico City, was emotionally received by fans at a Serenata event after the post-arrest controversy. His mask versus mask match with Chad Gable is still on for May 30th. A lot of questions as to whether he was going to be able to wrestle or not, or even leave the country. He was allowed to leave the country. This altercation occurred in an elevator when him and his girlfriend were maybe getting a little too close in the elevator that set somebody off, and that individual said some comments that did not sit well with Ludwig Kaiser, who then assaulted, is the allegation, assaulted the individual. We'll see. There is footage from the elevator that can be seen, but we don't really know what was said there, what happened. So we'll let it at that. But he was very warmly received at his event, and he will be able to travel next week. Eddie Guerrero's daughter, Sherilyn, is in the news. She's preparing for her in-ring debut, and she said she plans to incorporate the 619 as a setup for the Frog Splash. It's a Ray into Eddie tribute sequence, and she will do that as soon as she debuts. So that would be interesting to see. And then Danhausen and the New York Knicks have launched a co-branded merchandise line. The Knicks now lead the Eastern Conference Finals 3-0 against the Team Danhausen cursed Cleveland Cavaliers from several weeks ago. All right, AEW Double or Nothing. This thing has sold out completely. When I look at the ticketing, and I'll get into that right now, let's see. The arena holds 14,823 seats. The current setup is for 14,028 seats. They have to take out some of them just for the entranceway and so forth. 14,028 is the setup, and that's how many tickets they've sold. Not only that, it is reporting way above normal pay-per-view buys. So Dave Meltzer reports that advanced pay-per-view buys for tonight's AEW Double or Nothing are running well ahead of typical AEW pace, with the title versus hair stipulation on the Darby Allin versus MJF main event credited as the primary driver. Secondary market ticket demand for tonight's show is also significantly elevated. Whether the bump sustains for Forbidden Door on June 28th, we'll wait and see. But it does seem like AEW there's been more engagement there, and this is really good to see going into tonight. So let's talk about tonight. Let's talk about AEW Double or Nothing. There is a pre-show called The Buy-In. I believe that begins at 7 p.m. tonight. That will include 3 matches. The first is the Conglomeration, Mark Briscoe, along with Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong, along with Boom and Doom, which is Big Boom AJ and QT Marshall. They will be taking on Shane Taylor Promotions that includes Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, Carly Bravo, Sean Dean, and Anthony Ogogo. I'm sure this one will be a very fun, fan-friendly match. Get everybody excited, get the kids on board. I think the faces will likely win this one. That's what they usually do for these buy-in matches or 0-hour matches, as they call them. So good opportunity to get Briscoe, who's a fan favorite, Orange Cassidy, a fan favorite, and of course, Big Boom AJ and QT Marshall will be on there as well. Also, the buy-in. It'll be the Ops, including Hook, Anthony Bowens, and Katsuyori Shibata against the Death Riders, including Daniel Garcia, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta. I'm not really sure on this one who's going to win. I think they want to push Anthony Bowens a little bit. He mentioned that he wants to show his new sleeper move, or his new, I shouldn't say sleeper, his new submission move. So I'm going to say that the Ops are going to win this because they want to, I think they're getting a little bit of a push here. Death Riders probably don't need this match as much as them. And quite frankly, Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta are quite usually on the losing end of these battles. So I will say this one goes to the Ops. And then the final buy-in match is an AEW Women's World Tag Team Championship 5-minute eliminator match. It'll be Divine Dominion, the champions, Megan Bain and Lena Cross, and they've been dominant. Haven't really wrestled tough talent yet, but they've been dominant in what they've been able to do. And they will take on Zeta Steel and Viva Van. So Zeta Steel, recent signing, Ring of Honor. Viva Van was just in the Ring of Honor show last week. So we'll see what happens here. I have a feeling Divine Dominion is going to win this within 5 minutes as well. All right, then on the main show, we've got the Stadium Stampede match, which includes The Demand, Ricochet, Toa Leona, and Bishop Khan, along with the Dogs, Clark Connors and David Finlay, and then part of the Don Callis family, Andrade El Idolo and AEW National Champion Mark Davis. They will be taking on Chris Jericho, the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, Jungle Jack Perry, and Kenny Omega. Anything can happen in these matches. I've seen these matches before. It will likely be all over the arena. Lots of different, maybe tennis rackets are brought into this one since this is at a tennis event or something like that. It'll be a little outlandish, not the type of match I love, to be honest with you, but it'll be, again, fan-friendly. Hoping maybe they start with this and just get it over with. I think Jericho's due for a win, so I'm going to have Team Jericho winning this one over, I'll call it Team Demand. We then have 3 Owen Hart Foundation tournament quarterfinal matches. First, the women's match. It'll be Athena against Mina Shirakawa. I think it's been great to see Mina Shirakawa get more TV time, whether that's Ring of Honor or whether that's on AEW. This is an AEW match. I think Athena wins this one pretty cleanly. It'll be interesting to see how far she goes in this tournament, given her long-standing Ring of Honor championship run. I'm going to say Athena wins this one. We then go to 2 men's quarterfinal matches. We've got Swerve Strickland versus the Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito. Bandito's title is not up for grabs in this match, but this has been brewing for a number of weeks, both with vignettes that have been shot, with Swerve Strickland going after Bandito, and then after Bandito's Ring of Honor championship win against Blake Christian, Swerve Strickland came in and beat him down. So this should be a really good match. I think Swerve will win. I'd love to see Bandito win, but I think Swerve will win this one. Heel Swerve, I think he'll win it handily. Maybe there's some outside interference just to draw more heat to Swerve Strickland. We've got Will Ospreay versus Samoa Joe in another quarterfinal match. Should be really good. I see no way Will Ospreay loses this. I think Will Ospreay is going to win the tournament. He's going to headline All In, and this is just going to be one of his victories. So I think Ospreay will beat Samoa Joe. Let's see how much he gets beat up, though. Let's see how many times he feels like he broke his neck again. Kind of getting a little old, to be honest with you, but should be a good match regardless. We've got a new match that was thrown in here in the last week. That's the AEW Continental Championship match, a no time limit match, Jon Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly. Because it's a Continental Championship match, I assume it will be Continental rules, meaning nobody can be at ringside. I think Mox wins this, even though Kyle O'Reilly's had his number. I don't see Kyle O'Reilly winning the Continental Championship from Moxley, but Kyle O'Reilly, I like seeing him get pushed. Looked like he was getting pushed for a little bit, went quiet, but he's on the main card here, and I think that's really good for Kyle O'Reilly. I think he'll have a chance to win, but will not win. Jon Moxley retains in this one. We've got the AEW World Tag Team Championship match, a New York street fight, and an I Quit match. It's Cage and Cope versus FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood. If Cape and Cope lose, they can never wrestle as a tag team again. If Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood lose, they lose the titles. I think this is easy. I think Christian Cage and Adam Copeland win the titles here. They'll run it back again, whether that's at this soon-to-be July pay-per-view or whether it's at All In. They will run it back again, I have no doubt, against FTR. But I think Cage and Copeland win this one and bring the titles back around their waist, which would be pretty cool to see them do that in AEW. We've got the AEW International Championship match. The Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada against the Alpha Konosuke Takeshita, both of the Don Callis family. I really look forward to this match. This should be maybe the best match on the card. I have no idea who's going to win. I would say it's Takeshita. I think he leaves the Don Callis family after this. Maybe Callis interferes against him. Who knows? I'm going to say Takeshita wins it, but I would not be surprised if Okada won it. Again, I think this is going to be a rematch at some point in the near future. Maybe Okada takes this one because Callis interferes. That turns Takeshita complete face, and then they rematch with a huge crowd behind Takeshita when he wins it the next go round. Actually, I'm going to switch. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm actually going to say Okada wins this, but there will be a rematch. I think Callis interferes and Takeshita turns complete face after this. We've got the AEW Women's World Championship match. It's a four-way match. You've got the champion, Tekla, the Toxic Spider, versus Jamie Hayter, versus Hikaru Shida, versus Chris Statlander. Shida's been face/heel a little bit, not knowing what's going on with Chris Statlander. I don't trust her. Bottom line is, whether I trust her or not, I don't see Tekla losing her title here. I don't see Hayter winning it back. I don't see Stat winning it back. And I definitely don't see Shida winning it. So I'm going to say Tekla retains in this one. Not sure if there will be interference from the Triangle of Madness or not, but I think this one Tekla retains. And then the main event, AEW World Championship match. It is Darby Allin, the champion, against MJF. If MJF loses, his head will be shaved. His hair will be cut. If Darby Allin wins, he retains the title. I think everybody in the world expects MJF to win this. And I can't imagine he's going to have his head shaved. I can't. I wish they'd keep the title on Darby just as a swerve. Not a Swerve Strickland, but just as a swerve, because everybody thinks MJF is going to win this title. Darby's title run has been really, really good. He's been amazing. I mean, he's fought, I'm going to look at it here. He has fought and won. I said this last week. So since May 6th, he has beat Kevin Knight, Pac, Konosuke Takeshita, Sammy Guevara, and Mike Bailey. And now he's going up against MJF. Those matches were 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 17 minutes. And I don't have the time on the Mike Bailey match, but I think it was over 10 minutes. So he's put a lot of time in the ring, taken a lot of huge bumps. Again, I wish he'd retain it. I think you're seeing the ratings go up in AEW. You're seeing these big pay-per-view buys. I think that's telling you something about what you're doing with the belt around Darby. That said, I I have to think MJF is going to win it just because he's not getting his hair cut. And I don't think there's any way around it with him losing and not getting his hair cut. So that's what I have for Double or Nothing. It should be a really good card. I've been looking forward to this for a while, thought about going. It's in New York. It's in Queens. But it's at Louis Armstrong Arena. It's one of the big tennis venues there. But ended up not doing it. But I will be watching tonight. Should be very, very interesting. So a lot going on in the world of wrestling. I mentioned my Patreon page is being worked on. Some newsletters that are going to be going out. Not ready to release all the information yet. But I am going to put some of that stuff eventually probably behind a paywall as I get a lot of attention on it. And it's a good opportunity to put a newsletter together, share it with people, and, monetize that wrestling portion of what I talk about on a regular basis. So that's it for now. And I hope everybody enjoys the show. All right, everybody. Again, thanks for watching and or listening. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, and or YouTube. Make that and on YouTube. Subscribe to all three. That would be great. Click the like button if you like this podcast, so I know that I'm delivering the right content to you. Leave me some messages if you would. Follow my social media channels at TellUsEllisHQ. That would be great. And then if you have questions or want to email me on something, just send me an email, jamie@tellusellis.com. Really hope you enjoy the show tonight, and I will talk to you later. Thanks.